take this off. And yeah, as I mentioned, welcome to our very first launch week. We have our community day. Tomorrow we have Monday, which is going to be emceed by our very own Natalie Kwong. And we're going to have Andy, our senior project manager, and Michelle again, talk about some of the exciting things we've been doing with Airbyte Cloud and with that. Then after that, we have our feature day where we're going to be going over some of the features that the platform and connectors team have been working on, especially around connector quality. That's going to be really exciting. And then finally, Augustin, one of our user success engineers, is going to be demoing the brand new Airbyte CLI. And there's going to be a little surprise there. So if you stick around with us until the end of the week, we'll absolutely be sure to make it worth your time. Without further ado, I want to hand it off to our lovely CEO and co-founder, Michelle. Please take it away.
Thank you, Abby. Hi, everyone, and thank you very much for attending our first launch week, the 1st of May. So, as Abby said, I'm the co-founder and the CEO of Airbyte, and I'm super thrilled to be here and just tell you more about our vision and what we've accomplished over the past quarter and what we're going to be doing over the next 2 months. So, Airbyte. We started Airbyte in 2020. We wanted to solve one of the hardest problems around data, the reliable access to data. We had all suffered from the complexity of building this type of system in our past lives, and we wanted to help organizations and data teams solve it so they can focus on extracting insight from data instead of sight from data. Like a very fun sentence. And although many vendors promise data connectors 100% reliable, it is not possible. I think about data integration, it will always fail because you have no control on the system. Company might decide to change their APIs, they might bug somewhere, and because of that, yes, it will fail. So the secret when you're building a data integration platform is to make it a resilient platform, and very importantly, to give the control on failure to the users. And so, in order to achieve that, what we need to make sure of as Airbyte is how do we make...
Michelle, just really quick, there's a really bad access, so I'm trying to figure that out for you. So, sorry about the...
First long break.
Let us try and figure this out. Yeah, sorry about that, everyone. Definitely for some issues with our first launch week. This is, let me see.
I can do and speak very slowly if you want.
I think we should just use one. Yeah. It's supposed to go.
Bear with us.
Hold on. Hello. Can you try now?
You want me to speak?
Yeah.
Hi, everyone.
How about now? Is it?
All good. Don't worry. Bear with us. Some technical problems. But
do you know what it is? I know what it is. We have to turn off the mic. Okay, great. Okay. There we go. Now, how about now?
How about now? Is it good?
Is it good?
Is it good? Is it good? No.
Really? Oh, wait. They say it's better. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because I turned it off on this side. Okay. Cool.
Okay. Is it better now? Yeah?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Okay. All right. Cool.
So,
okay.
You know what? Let me not start from the beginning. So, as I was saying, we started Airbyte in 2020. We wanted to solve one of the hardest problem around data, like the reliable to data. Because, in the past, we've all suffered from the complexity of building this system. And we wanted to help other organizations and other data teams to actually solve it so that they can focus on extracting insight from data instead of extracting data. And although many vendors promise that data connectors can be 100% reliable, It is not possible. Data integration is always going to fail because you're connecting and you're relying on systems that you cannot control. They can decide to change an API, they can have a bug somewhere, and because of that, it will fail. So one of the secrets when building data integration is to build a resilient platform and to give control over to all the users. In order to achieve that, we must make data connector maintenance a breeze. And this is what it means to build a data integration platform. We must nail the maintenance. So how do we nail the maintenance? To do that, we actually need to invest massively in tooling to build and update connectors, because this tool is basically what is enabling the team and also our community to provide the best and most up-to-date connector available. So during the next few days, we will be presenting several initiatives that we are releasing or that we will be releasing over the next few months. And we have only one goal at that point. It's we want to become the most ubiquitous and most reliable data movement platform. So the team and I are very happy to have you there, and we hope you will enjoy all the announcements. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Michel. That was, and again, sorry about the technical difficulties. I think we've ironed everything out. I'm really excited that we're actually kicking this off and we're starting this launch week series. And of course, next time we come at you, it's going to be much, much better now that we figured more of the things out. Now, without further ado, I want to go on to something that has been very near and dear to my heart, which is the maintainer program. The maintainer program is a initiative, and as Michel mentioned, to focus on connector maintenance and focus on connector quality. Before now, we mainly focused on general contributions. We focused on connector creation, and we focused on like basically rewarding people for just generally contributing to Airbyte in any way possible. Something that we realized and something that we thought about in terms of scalability was that we really wanted to think about how are we going to incentivize people to increase connector quality? How are you going to incentivize people to add features for connectors, fix bugs on them? And that is something that we really wanted to focus on. We wanted to make sure that people and the Airbyte and the community had a strong relationship, and we wanted to make sure that everyone who's using Airbyte, open source, no matter what connector you're using, whether it's one for the most popular API or integration, whether that maybe that's like the Salesforce API, or you're using maybe a very niche marketing API that's not very popular, you should be able to have the same quality and the same Airbyte experience with both connectors. And that is why we've devised a reward system around connector maintenance. So we've basically added bounties for bug fixes on a lot of the connectors. We've added bounties for adding basically adding new streams, adding incremental sync, and adding new sync modes for each one of these streams. And all of this can be found in our GitHub project, which is the maintainer program and the relevant issues. We basically started this off with a beta test of a few people. We basically invited a lot of the people that were working on our connector contest, our Hacktober from last year. For those that don't remember, Hacktoberfest, we had about like 40 or 50 people contribute connectors, and this was really exciting for us. We got a lot of the community involved, and we had a lot of people contributing, and it was really exciting. But what we realized was that we wanted to focus on quality, and we didn't want to just have a bunch of connectors, this massive infusion of connectors, without being really confident that each of them was going to be supported into the future. And each of these connectors was going to be managed. And that is why we wanted to create the system around maintenance, around fixing bugs, around improving the features around a connector. So with this maintenance program, with these bounties, there are three main ways to contribute. Before, if you want to go ahead and just kind of scan this QR code really quick to check out the application, you can go ahead and do that. But there's three main ways to contribute. The first main way is basically by submitting PRs. So in these GitHub repos, in these GitHub issues, we basically have a table of bounties that need to be solved. and then for each one of these issues, you can go ahead and just submit a PR for each one of these things. For example, one of them may be for example, just adding incremental sync to a connector, or adding pagination, or increasing test coverage. Another way to contribute would be to review one of these PRs. Basically when someone submits from the maintainer program, if you come in and review one of these PRs, you would also receive a bounty for doing that, because we want to be able to scale. We want the community to be able to kind of collectively improve connector quality, and not just be bottlenecked perhaps by like Airbyte user success team reviewing PRs. And we want to be able to scale and reward people for interacting with each other, improving each other's code, and mentoring each other. And then the final way that you can contribute is by helping write docs for connectors. So if you want to write a better getting started guide for a connector, if you want to detail all of the configuration options for a connector, that is something that, while may not be seen as really important for connector quality, it is just as important, and the experience of someone coming in and using a connector is extremely important. And if there's configuration options that aren't clear, and if the setup isn't clear, let's just say maybe it's not exactly understood how authentication works, or maybe the API key is not obvious for some people. We want every part of that experience to be good. And so each part of these elements of the connector experience is rewarded for contributing to. And I wanted to basically spend some time talking about the kind of like the two main participants that have been helping us out in this beta program. I wanted to emphasize that these two people, Ivica and Luis, have mostly done this out of the kindness of their own hearts. They have spent a lot of time working with these issues. They've been reviewing each other's PRs. I know Ivica spent a lot of time basically scoping out a lot of the issues on these alpha connectors that we've put into the program. I wanted to thank them, and for that, we wanted to announce that they are going to be our first official maintainers from the community. And something exciting that I haven't mentioned yet is that through the maintainer program, we will be able to grant direct write access to our repository, and for vetted members of the maintainer program. And that is something that I think will be valuable to a lot of contributors, especially speeding up the contribution process with not having to fork the repo, and also will allow people to merge each other's PRs, and to once we've built that trust, we are in the community members that we vetted to directly merge code, so that there's no lag time and there's no waiting around for someone from Airbyte to run tests. We want to work directly with the community, and we want to trust the community to help with the maintenance of this ecosystem. And if there are any questions about the maintainer program, I know there's probably going to be a lot of questions around what qualifies for it, which connectors are part of the program, how you get in, how you apply for it. We'll be answering a lot of that at the end of this presentation, so definitely stick around for that, and check out the maintainer program page on the website. Now that we've kind of gone over the maintainer program, I wanted to kick it off to our COO, John, who's going to be talking about some of the growth that we've had in the Airbyte community, which has been honestly astounding. So I think he'll give you a bit of insight into that. And again, thank you so much for tuning into our show. We really appreciate everyone coming out to listen in. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to John.
Thanks very much, Abby. So I wanted to share with you a few metrics on our community. And the first one is actually a metric that we haven't shared until now. And this is the open source daily active users. So we don't measure like monthly active users or weekly daily active users. We measure daily ones, because that's what the pattern that we've seen throughout our user base. And we wanted to share that until we didn't want to share that until we reached the 1,000 milestone, and reached that in the first 18 months in the end. just to compare like the kind of growth that we're seeing in our open source community to other ones. Like we, for instance, to compare that with DBT, which we really love, they reached the milestone of 1,000 weekly active users in 2.5 years. And on our side, it took us like 18 months. So, and I think actually even like by the time the slide was made and today, I think we're we're closer to 1,400 today than 1,250. And the next chart we want to share with you is also the Slack growth and the GitHub growth. And so the first thing we're doing here is comparing Airbyte with other open source projects related to data integrations, just to give you a bit more perspective. And potentially what is most important now is the code contributor one. And that's exactly in line with what Abby was saying with the maintainer program. Our goal is to make that reach another level at that point. Slack has been also our main focus towards the community. And we've reached a point where we actually need to make Slack a more community-oriented and make the support that I did in Slack more scalable. And that's why we want to introduce to you a new discourse, which we call Discourse 2.0 in internal. And so what we'll be doing in Discourse is moving the support that we're providing on Slack, typically troubleshooting, feedback, and ideas, all the channels where we see a lot of questions that are like a lot similar. Because we don't have the ability to search for an answer, an existing answer on Slack, we want to move that to Discourse. Because at that point, you'll search for an existing answer. You'll be able to self-serve your own resolution for your issues. And also on Discourse, we'll have the ability to upvote. And that point, for us, it's very important to see a community vote. With Slack, we had separate conversations, but with the voting feature on Discourse, we'll be able to see what is important to our community. So that's why we're moving all those channels to Discourse. So what becomes of Slack now? Well, we want to put it to make it more community oriented. And so we have introduced a set of advice channels. We have seen this behavior amongst the community where we were sharing tips, best practices, or ask for opinions, and we hadn't a structure where you could focus on one topic. So we have introduced these advice channels for that. We will also have other channels like Airbyte for beginners. That's where we'll provide instant support within 1-2 hours for any new beginners that have troubleshooting issues. We think that that's very important for them to get set up. But any other troubleshooting will be moved to Discourse. And we have introduced events. You'll see that we're focusing a lot of events. We're introducing as well the CLI. If you have any question on CLI, it's kind of channels. So a lot of them you'll see are now default in Slack, but you'll see more if you browse channels. So that's for the community growth and what we'll be introducing today on the Slack channels and in Discourse. But something else we've been working on is our content hub, which we call Databytes. And to power this content hub, we have actually grown the community team 4x. Until now, until last quarter, we had Abby and focusing on developer content. And now we have the team has grown to 8 people and it's still growing. And our goal is to provide the best docs experience with Amruda. And we want to provide the best videos with Chris, Justin, and the best also like thought leadership articles and technical tutorials with Talia, Simon, and Alexander. And that's why we want to introduce today our new content hub. So what is a content hub? Until now, we had a blog where we would publish the articles, only articles. Now you'll see we've changed the layout so that you have a lot more visibility across the new content that we'll provide. And our goal, we're not there yet, but our goal for the end of the quarter is to produce 1 high quality content a day. So that is a high goal, but we believe we can do this. and soon we'll also introducing our podcasts. So this is not yet launched, but this will come in this quarter. So something that is very important for us is to focus on content that is very valuable for you. So let us know what you want us to work on, which content you want us to address, and we'll make sure we do. And yeah, so our goal is to to address all data engineering topics. So not on Airbyte per se, that's the content hub, all data engineering. So that's why also we've introduced Slack, advice channels on Slack, where we handle topics like data orchestration, data architecture. That's what we want to do on the Content Hub as well. So yes, that's it for the announcement on the community side. We have one last announcement, I think. So I'll let you cover this, Abby.
Thank you so much, John. Honestly, a lot of the community growth has been really, really close to me. I've watched a lot of this project change over the last year. I mean, and a lot of the team who built out the project has watched it change over the last 1.5, 2 years. I think a lot of people don't know how short it's been, how short the life of Airbyte has been so far, and how much more we have to do. We are so excited by the growth that we've been seeing in the community, and we really are trying to scale to match the excitement, match the hype around open source ETL. And I think to go along with that and to kind of really appreciate data integration generally in the community, we want to announce our first ever community conference. In the community conference, we want to be going over lots of different themes in the integration space and around it. These are some of the themes that we've been thinking about: orchestration. How are you basically scheduling and activating a lot of the pieces of your modern data stack? How are you collecting the data, and how are you analyzing it? What does your BI stack look like? Are you doing anything unique with your data integration? Maybe you have interesting thoughts about data quality, and you want to share novel ideas around data quality or data observability. We want to hear it all. We want to create a community and create a space for people to bring these ideas to us, and we're really looking for anyone to come and talk. If you're a first-time speaker, if you're someone in our community who's thought about contributing and wants to kind of take their first step into creating content, this would be a really awesome opportunity to do so. I also wanted to shout out our head of events, Chris Rose, who's putting all of this together. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to present today, but I really wanted to talk about all of the awesome work that he's been doing. Go to his LinkedIn and leave him lots of wonderful messages, telling him how awesome he is. He has been basically figuring out all of the logistics around how we're going to set up an awesome conference for you in November. And we wanted to also say that we are going to have our own conference, but throughout the year, we're going to be at a lot of different places. The first one coming at you in Boston, we're going to be at ODSC East. I'll be there along with two of our other developer advocates. We're going to be at AWS Summit, where I believe our CEO Michel is giving a talk. We're going to be at Airflow Summit and Snowflake Summit, and then finally Data and AI Summit, where I think some engineers, I believe Jared and Davin are going to be giving a talk, and Michelle's going to be giving a talk there as well. Check out, as mentioned here, check out airbyte.com/events to see exactly where we're going to be at. Now we wanted to do a Q&A, kind of get a lot of the community's thoughts, questions around about what we've just talked about, whether it's about the conference, whether it's about the maintainer program, whether it's about our growth. There's going to be lots of different opportunities for people to ask questions on the following days. We're going to be announcing a lot of different things, as we mentioned, around cloud, around the features, around the day. So let's, if anyone has any questions, we'd love to field them now. So I think we have one question, which is, I believe, around the maintainer program. What does it take to be accepted to the waitlist? There's not necessarily a wait list. There's just an application. What we're looking for is mostly experience contributing to the Airbyte ecosystem or experience contributing to OSS software. Generally, we want to keep the program scalable. We want to be able to onboard people and have batches so that maybe the more veteran maintainers can mentor and guide some of the people who are just starting off in the program. So we want to mostly take on people who have had experience contributing so far. And then we have another question, which is there a limit to the number of maintainers that will accept? So in theory, no. We want this to be a ever-growing ecosystem which will scale with the amount of integrations that exist. And many people don't know this, but there's over like 20,000 different marketing integrations in existence. And if that means we're going to have 20,000 people maintaining each of those connectors, I mean, that's what it's going to mean. But as I mentioned before, we do want to make sure that it's scalable. Obviously, if we brought on like 100 or 200 people immediately, it wouldn't really allow for the program to be scalable. It wouldn't allow for maybe some of the more experienced members to mentor and to mentor like the newer batches. We want to make sure that this is a really good experience for everyone who joins, but we are also cognizant that there's a lot of people that probably want to contribute, and there's a lot of people who want to engage with the program. So that is what we're thinking. That is how we're thinking about it. If you have any questions, go ahead and and if you have any feedback that you want to give, go ahead and throw that in the feedback channel in the open source Slack. We definitely are interested in hearing that. I guess we have one more question about the maintainer program. What are some of the reward types for the bounties? The reward types is money. So we are generally, so for example, if you implement incremental sync for all streams in a connector, you will get $300. We've tested a lot of these numbers around with the people currently in the program. We're always looking for feedback on that. They've given us good feedback about where we're at. But I mean, if there's any feedback around the actual bounty values, we'd love to hear about that as well. But it's going to be it's just generally going to be money. We want to keep it really simple. If there's any other things that we want to give that people want, I mean, we'll be sending out lots of Airbyte swag to people in the program anyway, so that's kind of a given. So if you're thinking about swag, then we definitely we'll definitely be sending out that to people in the program.
In addition to money, when you contribute to the GitHub repo, you win points and you get levels. So, and those levels gets you swag automatically, and you're part of the leaderboard that you can see on airbyte.com/contributors as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, anything you do will be on that leaderboard. So I believe that we are actually at time. Again, thanks for hanging in there with us. I know that there's a bit of technical difficulties. Thankfully, we figured everything out, and the next few days are going to be a little more smooth as we go into some of the other announcements that we have. Again, if there's any questions that you all have for the community, please leave that in the feedback channel in open source Slack. If you have any messages for the team, if you want to say hi, just we'd love to hear what you think. But thank you so much to Jean and Michel for talking today, and we're going to be hearing from them later through the week. So I am excited to hear what we have coming up, and I guess we're going to be talking at you over the next few days. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in.